to, we're going to collect the questions here. I'm going to start out with these. And folks, what I want to tell you is this, particularly the questions we're collecting from you all now, obviously I've never seen them before, and I'm just going to answer them extemporaneously. I did take a look at these to see what it is that you all wanted to know about and that type of thing, but I don't know what order I'm picking them, so I'm going to pick this one. Oh, Mary Lou, have you got one? Have you got one? Oh, you got a couple? You know what? To heck with those old ones. Oh, now not to heck with those old ones. Here, I'm grabbing one right here. Here's how this is going to go. You ready? Yeah? Okay, here it goes. When you have to deal with or negotiate with people who are extremely negative, how do you best approach the situation to move the energy forward in a positive way? Yeah. Okay. When you have to deal with or negotiate with people who are extremely negative, what or how is the best approach to situations? You can just leave them right in there, thanks. To move the energy in a more positive way. The way that I would approach that, and certainly I have those people in my life as well, but when we know the spiritual truth, and the spiritual truth is, even if that person has a negative attitude about them, they are still a divine expression of the divine. And that they are walking through whatever their life experience happens to be at the time. So when I remember that, first of all, not taking the negativity personally, because that one's never works, you know. The four agreements say don't take anything personally. But when I can remember when I'm dealing with this person, it is they're seeing life from that perspective for whatever reason, but still underneath all that, they are spiritually whole, perfect, and complete. It reminds me that I don't have to take their negativity personally. And so if I'm dealing with somebody at this negative level here, I don't want to meet them here. And you know what sometimes I do? Because you know what's here? Gossip. You know what's here? Oh my God, the economy. You know what's here? Oh my God, there's an election coming up. Whether you're from the U.S. or you're from Canada, there's an election coming up, right? Oh my God. And I like to live here. If I let myself come down here, that energy gets exacerbated. So what I do is, oh my gosh, here, let's not go there. How about we talk about how beautiful the mountains are in the Canadian Rockies? How about we talk about the wonderful thing that I heard on the news instead of this thing over here? And because my higher vibration energy is a higher vibration, it's going to bring this vibration up with it. That make sense? That work? Okay, all right. Oh, you guys have lots of questions here. So we're going to get to your questions now. That was just the warm-up. Okay, here we go. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Oh, about this person? Tell him to see a practitioner. I forgot that part.
What's that?
That was funny. What does the word namaste mean, and what is the origin of the word? Lovely question. Namaste is a Sanskrit word, and I'm going to give you the loose translation. Any of you speak Sanskrit, you might be able to give a little bit more about that. But namaste is usually done like this. When you say namaste to somebody and you're bowing, and the translation is the divine in me bows to the divine in you. The God in me honors the God in you. It's a beautiful sentiment. Turn to somebody and say namaste. Going back to what I first said, that each one of us has the spark of the divine, even that negative person. And so if you're dealing with them with that namaste attitude of the God in me, the spirit in me, the universe in me, the love in me, honors, bows, acknowledges, sees the love in you. That's what namaste means. And it's a Sanskrit word, which is an ancient language. Okay? Yeah? All righty, here we go. Oh, this is a long one, and I have my glasses. Okay, what is the most spiritual way to respond to negativity coming from other people and situations? Is there a theme here today? For example, how does one resist engaging in gossiping, company, and misery, etc.? When they are enticed by others to do so in a practical sense, how do you say no in the moment?
No.
That's a better answer. No. Everybody practice. No. Oftentimes, when I'm with people who are going there, you know what I'm talking about, going there, I will say to them, let's not affirm that. Let's not affirm that. If they're in the poor me or the oh ain't it awful and the economy and the blah 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 blah. You know what? Let's not go there. Let's talk about something that matters. Let's talk about something that matters. Now, folks, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying if you've got family or if you've got friends, good friends or co-workers who are always negative, they're going to think that you're a goody two-shoes. They're going to go, oh, you're going to that church, aren't you? Oh, that spiritual center. Oh. They're the ones that think they're God. You know, I've heard them all. I've heard them all. And yet, what happens, I'm going to go off on a little tangent. I'm getting to them, okay? I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. What happens is that when we begin to change, when we begin to really live from that namaste place, when we really begin to see life and the situation from a spiritual perspective, other people don't change, but we change. And so when we walk into a situation like that, it kind of like doesn't happen as much because we're not attracting that to us. Is this making sense? It's the most amazing thing that happens is that people say, you know what, I started studying or I took classes or I learned how to do spiritual mind treatment or I started meditating and all of those people that I worked with that were so hard to get, they've changed. No, they haven't. We give off an energy that brings back to us who we are. So when we are no longer in that area of negativity, we don't attract it to us. Most of the time. Sometimes it still happens. Hey, I like a good gossip fest every once in a while. Yeah. But after a while, you know how it just feels icky? I don't like feeling like that anymore. But for the most part, it is that when we change, how people respond to us, how people are with us, changes as well. Okay? Oh, thanks. I'm just open to the flow here. How do you explain dementia, severe mental illness, when you lose mind control? How do you explain dementia, severe mental illness, when you lose mind control? Who are we to say that you've lost mind control? Who are we to say that there is dementia? Maybe it's simply a different dimension. With our finite minds, and you understand what I mean by finite? I mean limited. We are limited. We are limitless, but we are limited in this earthly experience. And so most of us judge only by what our five senses can, the information our five senses can tell us. What we can see and taste and smell and touch and hear. But somebody who is experiencing dementia, and I will tell you, I have both parents who experience dementia, and it's very hard on this side observing them. But from their perspective, maybe what they've just done is broken through to a different dimension. Is that possible? I see a hand over here. Yes, sir. Can you say that again a little louder? The fitting of the veil. This gentleman is saying, how about the fitting of the veil? I want to tell you a story. Just bear with me a second. I told you this is very impromptu. So when things drop in, thank you very much. I just go with it. Ernest Holmes, our founder, one of the most spiritual, wonderful, metaphysical, brilliant men in the world, talked exactly about that at a speech that he was giving once in Whittier, California. And he was giving the speech, and all of a sudden he started talking about the veil. And he started talking about how the veil was thinning for him, and he could see more. He could see additional dimensions. Now, I'm not talking about ooh, woo, woo, woo. I mean, this is a man who was grounded. And he talked about being able to see through the veil. So this is my personal opinion. When people are experiencing mental illness, mental illness almost always involves some sort of a God thing. Like they see God, they're talking to God, they're hearing God. Now God may be telling them to do something that isn't so great, but it is almost always a spiritual thing. So maybe it really is a parting into another dimension. Just something to think about. I don't know the answer to that. And stay on your medication. Seriously. Because it's all God. And if the medicine helps you to function better, stay on your meds. Okay, here we go. Why do some prayer requests never seem to materialize, e.g. get a lover or lose weight? Right? Billy, you want to take this one? How do we know that they are not materializing, is the question. Because the truth of the matter is, we may be receiving, I actually have two answers for this. We may be receiving an absolute answer to our prayer, an absolute demonstration of our prayer, but because it doesn't look like how we think it should look, then we say that it doesn't work. When in reality, the answer could be staring us right there in the face. The perfect demonstration could be staring us right there in the face. But because we're thinking the lover's going to look like George Clooney, then we don't see the demonstration when it's happening. Another part of that is, this happens a lot. And I know I keep talking about classes, but we learn all of this in classes, and we practice this stuff. So I'm doing my prayer work, and I'm thinking, I'm putting a finite time. It needs to happen by this time, okay? Or whatever, and it doesn't start to materialize in the time frame that I think it should. Then I say, okay, forget it, never mind, it doesn't work. When it could be right around the corner. That demonstration, that relationship, that secret to losing weight, and I'm going to talk here about losing weight. Would you rather be healthy? I mean, yeah, I'd like to weigh 120 pounds, but you know what? I don't, but I'm healthy. My prayers are now to be healthy, to be fit, to feel good, to be able to do things, not to have a size 2 body. I don't even have a size 2 shoe. But I digress. Anyway, or do I? In the 12-step programs, they say, don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle happens. And I think a lot of times that's what happens with us. Is that we say our prayer, we expect the demonstration like this, and when it doesn't happen, we say, I knew it wouldn't work. So, of course, it doesn't work. It works by not working because we've said that it's not going to work. Ernest Holmes actually said that. He said, even when you think it's not working, it's actually working. Only it's working by appearing to not work because you believe that it doesn't work. Yeah. Okay, these are great. We're going to keep on going. Oh, this is a chat. This is money. You're welcome. Okay. What is spirit? Is it a part of God? It is that our high self, or is it our soul? It is all of the be above God. Good question. This person was even brave enough to sign their name. Right? You know that song we sing, One Power? Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, call it Muhammad, call it Baha'u'llah. I practiced that one. It's all the same thing. There are many, many people who were raised with a negative God, with the mean guy, pissed off guy in the sky. The one that would mete out justice or shame or, all that other kind of stuff. And so the word God does not work for them. And so I always encourage people to use whatever word works for you. Spirit, universe, love, nature. I remember teaching the teens once, and I said that God doesn't care what you call it. There's no guy up there to say, oh, you insulted me. You called me her instead of him. I mean, there's no guy up there. And he doesn't care. It doesn't care. It is that loving energy, that spirit that is flowing through everything, that is living through everything, that is everything, and we call it whatever resonates within us. So I was explaining this to the kids once, and I said, I've heard somebody call God the cosmic muffin. And she went, I can do that? And I said, absolutely, whatever works for you. To this day, and I know her, she's a young adult, she refers to the divine as the cosmic muffin. So it's all there is. Yes, okay. I keep coming back to the money. Okay, you know what? We just might get through this, folks, if I stop going off on tangents. How do we discern between ego and intuition when receiving answers? I know! How do we discern between ego and intuition when receiving answers? First of all, I want to say something about the ego. You all understand the ego is not a bad thing. The ego is actually there to protect you. The ego is actually there to shield you from scary things happening and bad things happening. So it is not a bad thing. It's just sometimes a little misguided. It's just sometimes a little like trying to protect you from something you don't need to be protected from. Intuition. So when your ego's going, don't do that, or you know what? Sometimes it yells at you. Sometimes it's not clear or anything like this. Intuition, it's just a no. It's just a no. And it's quiet. And it doesn't shout. It just knows. Ernest Holmes defines intuition as God in man. This is when you just are tapping into that field of infinite intelligence and knowledge. And it does take takes a discipline and a discernment to be able to distinguish between the two. By discipline, I mean not haphazard spiritual practice. I mean doing your spiritual practice so that when the intuition comes, it's ding, crystal clear. Doing your spiritual practice, communing with your higher self, spirit, the universe, the cosmic muffin. Doing that, that's the discipline there, but the discernment of really being able to say, is what I'm getting based in love? Is what I'm getting for my best and highest good and the best and highest good of other people? Is this answer that I'm getting moving my life forward in a loving way? That's intuition. Ego would say, oh, don't do that, whatever. Does that make sense? It's making sense. But it takes discipline and it takes discernment to be able to recognize the difference. And that takes time and practice. I'm going to get to them all. How does it teach us to deal with anxiety? And because the thing is, what I always wanted to know about science of mind or metaphysics is, how does it teach us to deal with anxiety? You know what? I understand that question because I too deal with anxiety sometimes. Just that, and sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. And then I remember what we've been talking about all night or all day today. I remember that truth. I remember that I am a spark of the divine. I am a part of God, regardless of the thing that I'm feeling anxiety about, or regardless of what's happening in my love life or my health life, or regardless of what's happening with my family, or regardless of that phantom anxiety that sometimes shows up and it feels debilitating. Underneath all that, there's that spiritual true truth, that stream of living water, that wellspring of spirit, of God, of life. And when you are able to tap into that, it quells the anxiety to remember who we are. Who we are, what we are. We are God in expression.
What's that? What's that?
Go like this. And see a practitioner. Not a joke. And see a practitioner. Because that practitioner is trained to look through whatever that condition is, whatever that thing that they don't see that. They're not in it. They're not feeling it. And so they can look through that and remind you of that wellspring, that clear water, that truth about you. When wanting to manifest money, next one, while offering services to help others, should I just set my intention to help others and the money will follow, or intend to get both at the same time? Okay, I want to say this again so that I make sure that I'm answering the question. When wanting to manifest money, experience prosperity, while offering services to help others, should I just set my intention to help others and the money will follow, or intend to get both at the same time? Folks, money is just energy. Money is just energy. We think it has a lot of power. We think that it has a lot of mysterious, and we've got those old beliefs, money is hard to get, you got to work hard for your money, and money is the root of all evil, and it's dirty, and all this other kind of stuff. There's a collective consciousness, there's groupthink about all of that kind of stuff, when in reality, money, this is just a symbol of energy. This is God in action. This is life in action. All of us who think, oh, no, it's money, it's dirty, it's somehow tainted. Well, I almost said a bad word. Because I'm not in class. Sometimes I do in class, but I don't on Sundays. Nonsense. BS. BS belief system. It is just a form of energy. And so to answer that person's question, give of yourself, give of your energy, both financially and of giving of yourself in helping others. Get the flow of circulation starting, because that's what circulation is. You give out, you receive. You give out, you receive. That's all it is. It isn't a secret. It is just circulation of energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is it okay I almost said a bad word? Yeah. I didn't. My board president is sitting right over there. Wherever she is. Okay.
What is that?
Explain love without reference to romantic love.
What's that? What's that?
George and Lucy, my cats. Gibson, Aaron, and Dexter in Amy's life.
What's that?
All of you, the children, that's love. The mountains that I just came to is love. that there is something that is so unspeakably beautiful that fills our hearts.
With Dad.
That's love. We live in an energy of love. Romantic love is fun. Love it. And it isn't the only love. How do they explain it in Greek philosophy that you have eros love, which is the romantic love, the amor love. You've got agape love, which is the kind of transcendent love. You've got the filial love, which is the love of friends. You've got familial love, which is the love of family and siblings. Love is all there is. 2 more. 3 more. Okay, I'm on a roll. You guys good? Yes? All right. Okay, I'm not ignoring that one. I'm just going to come back to it. I don't know how you guys are. I always leave the hard stuff for the last. I like to get the other stuff out of the way. Okay, is the center considered to be Christian-based religion or church? I'm so glad I know the answer to this one. Okay. It depends on what your definition of Christian is. If your definition of Christian is Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and the only way that I'm going to make it to heaven is to accept Jesus as my personal Savior, then no, we are not Christian. If you mean, do we follow the teachings of the Great Way Shower, the master teacher Jesus, who said things like love your neighbor as yourself, who said the kingdom of heaven is within, who understood how to use his mind to heal people. If that's what you mean by Christian, then yes.